Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I'm going to get into the comment section and see what you guys are talking about, what you're asking about. I do this regularly, so leave your comments on any video. And if I get into your question and I use it for a video, if you have your IGN in there, I will send you a little thank you. Before I get into it though, my name is Dwayne Cunningham. I go by Infidel1258. You can call me 12. If you want more content, show me the likes, show me the subscriptions. Also check out the members only page. You'll see some extra content if you want to get involved. Okay, let's go. So I haven't checked out the comment section at all. Okay, so we'll do 3 comments from 3 videos. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what he's saying here, but there's some substantive comment here, and there's some replies. There's some thumbs up. So let's see. So first and foremost, this is on a video I recently covered where I was talking. One of the FAQ questions I talked about in there was that aggroed is too sort of bullish, too like hopium, and it's a problem. It's not very becoming as a leader. That was the tone of the comment, and it was from a friend. I respect the person who left that comment. I had disagreed in some respects, but not entirely. And so if you want to see the full depth, go check out that video. But let's see what said in jest says. Said in jest. I can't. Okay. So he goes, I fear that anyone who didn't sell in 2021 missed the window. Ooh, okay. We will never see those prices again. Okay. Because we are in for financial disaster, depression. And by the time that's over, an AI prompt will be able to make a game that's better than the Splinterlands in 30 seconds. That is these are fighting words. Like, I mean, good comment. I'm happy to hear it. I'm really if you're new to the channel and you've never seen me cover content like this, or I want to say in advance to you, I love it when there's disagreement. Now, hopefully it's respectful. And so far, said in jest is, he's sharing his opinion in a very clear way, and it's a bit salty, but I like it. This is a healthy comment. Let's get into it. I missed it and I hate myself for it. Ooh, to be honest, I could have gotten out of the hole, and I'm in now, and even had some serious Bitcoin savings. Yeah. Instead, I have debt and a melting ice cube of a card collection. I let that bot play for me now, but I'm not interested in the game anymore. I'm hoping the land will actually make card prices increase so I can dump my collection for at least a little bit of money, but we'll see. This might have been the biggest mistake I made in my whole life, to be honest. Wow. Okay. So I really want to handle this comment delicately, because I'm hearing a total sincere vulnerability here. Said in jest didn't have to drop a comment. He didn't have to say anything about this, but there's real sincerity here about his personal situation. So I'm not going to try and convince Said in jest that he made the right decision, that he's going to we're going to get the moon and you're going to be so pumped. That's not the angle I want to take here, but I want to try and respond. And of course, I need to be clear up front. I have a bullish expectation for what Splinterlands is. So while I'm not trying to explicitly change Said in jest's mind, it is going to be from a perspective that is far more bullish than him. And I'll try to articulate why. Not to explain, not to convince Said in jest or you if you feel like this comment, but really just to share and reiterate the confidence I walk in, because you're here watching the video, for one, but for two, I actually want to know if I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong about the things I'm about to speak, about the confidence about this game, I want to know that. And as I read comments like Said in jest just gave, I try to internalize it. I think to myself, okay, I haven't read this before. I'm right now responding with fresh eyes in the way that I believe, and I'm testing my own thoughts as I do it. So let's get into it. So he thinks there's never going to be another bull run like the one we just saw. In some sense, I got to say, a lot of the asset prices, the card prices, SPS was way higher. Just today, SPS broke down through the floor, and I guess it's an all-time new low. So man, there's a lot of pointers, a lot of indicators that could on the surface really agree and support this concern. But of course, man, in the middle of a bear market, of course things look bleak. Just because it's a bear market So it's a bear market. It's affecting the whole crypto space. Bitcoin's, down from its all-time highs, like less than half. And yet Bitcoin was at 15 or 16,000. Is at 27. I just don't, my view, if you're new, is that we're about to see a significant rally. And I don't say that because, hey, you should now sell what you've got, take loans and invest. I don't say any of this ever to convince you. These are my thoughts, and they form the justifications for my positions. I have a $40,000 deck of cards in this. I have 200 and some thousand SPS. I have, 400 Chaos Legion packs. I have 23 plots of land. Like, I have a lot of assets. I think my land is worth $5,000 or something. So, man, I have a lot of assets, 50 grand maybe in this game, US. Like, that's a huge amount of money. I don't say that because I want to convince you. I say it because I truly believe these things. I think we're looking for a leg up in Bitcoin, in all the major tokens, and yes, in Splinterlands. And it's not just because of fundamentals around Bitcoin, around, the cryptocurrency market, and why, there just should be, because, hey, we held at 27,800 26, 20, yeah, it's 20, was it 26? Anyways, Bitcoin recently held a high or low, and that's a big deal. But that's not the only reason that I say these things about Splinterlands. And you get into it a little bit here. You go, we are in for a financial disaster / depression. This is something I echo and I share, and I've talked about this on the channel. I believe this, and I don't say this out of joy either. Like, this is, man, wow. Like, if we are headed for a place where, for instance, the US dollar stops being used as a cornerstone for the global economy, if we are headed to a place where hyperinflation reaches Canada, reaches America, like, that's a life-changing set of decades. Like, we're talking 20, 30 years where the world as we know it is not the same. The world you grew up in is not the same. The world your kids will grow up in, it will be different from the one you knew, in a significant and scary way. Like, it's substantial and it's real. And I think I think he's right. I think we are in for those things. But I don't know if those are 5 months away, 5 years away, or 50 years away. And I say that because as much as somebody like Said and Jess clearly, I think, gets that, and I really believe there's fundamental justifications for why we should be concerned, money printing, corporate debt, private debt, US debt, governmental debt. Every country in the world is above 100% GDP. It's like, I was listening to Raul Paul talk about this, man. If you think about the fact that the country itself has over 100% of GDP in debt, that means, like, all of the gross domestic product of a given year, like, any growth you see on that from this year to next year, any growth we might see in the economy as measured by GDP will be gobbled up by the interest paid or due on the loans that the debt is. And by the way, the $30 trillion America owes is just in like listed assets. We're not talking, there's all kinds of things that are not included in that. Like, I mean, like, we're talking quadrillions of dollars of, like, derivatives, and it's US backed debt, by the way, like across the globe. It's so crazy. It's so terrifying. It's too big of a topic to touch here, but my point is, I agree with this idea that there is real cause for concern. But then maybe not this next part where he goes, okay, let's touch on this first. He says, by the time that disaster is over, we will have to, AI could produce a better game than Splinterlands. Now, he's probably right about that, to be honest. Like, Splinterlands, the thing about Splinterlands is going to be that it was an early adopter. Like, people are going to play this game for as long as collectible card games exist now, because this has got a niche, it's got an audience. I believe that. Now, can there be a better game created easily with AI, especially in like a 10-year or 20-year time horizon? I'm probably pretty certain that's true. But here's the thing. We have to circle back to, like, when this is going to resolve, when this is going to happen. Is it 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years, 50 years from now that we're going to see the collapse? Because even though people like Said and Jess know this is happening, know this is a problem, know that inflation is non-sustainable, know that global corporate plus and the governmental debts are just unsustainable, and that inflation is a real problem that's going to gut the average human. Taking away all of your ability to earn and making it impossible to feed families. And that is historically a marker for when, big, let's just say, things don't go well. And so, but when is that happening? When will that can no longer be kicked down the road? And he seems to think it's real soon. That's why you're saying that you think you will never see another window within Splinterlands where this game will sort of boom. And my fear is you're wrong. Hear me. My fear is that you're wrong. What do I mean? It would be terrible if you're wrong and it'd be terrible if I'm right. Because it means what I'm saying is this is all further off than you're expecting. And I'm saying that's terrible. What do you mean, Dwayne? Why is it terrible that these financial crises are further off? I can get prepared if they're further off. Guys, this is the sort of thing I'm talking the disaster that I imagine could happen, economically speaking, disaster, could be so substantial. We see 20 years where life is unrecognizable. Starvation, massive unemployment, can't get a job, pensions evaporate, houses are seized, abandoned. Detroit is an example of one place where a city collapsed when the auto economy was gutted. And I'm saying the global economy would be gutted. And so I'm saying America, Canada would be like Detroit across a continent. And so I'm talking about 20 wasted years. I'm talking about your children, my children who are 7 and 9, growing up in a world where there is no financial aid, there is no financial supports. The economy is fallen apart, and it's this total reset where we go back to probably barter with maybe silver and gold, maybe with literal physical currency, because we're concerned about, I don't even think, no, it can't be currency. It's got to be probably literally silver and gold, because those things will carry value even in the future where US dollars don't. And so this is getting down a real rabbit hole in a response to this man. But he has real concerns about the future disaster that is looming. And in my mind, it is absolutely looming, and that guillotine will fall. But my question is it 5 days or 50 years away? And I don't know the answer to that. But I believe it's further along than you might think. Because I think Bitcoin has another leg up. I think the altcoin bull market goes hog wild. I think the Dow Jones and the S&P and all the major indices go soaring. I think that includes opportunity for Splinterlands. And then I think in, years after, months after that happens, that next and final blow off top that makes everything you've ever seen within the major indices look ridiculously small and insignificant, that would be when I would expect a full inflation collapse. Hyperinflation, US dollar gets gutted, even though it already has been in a total failure of everything we've ever known. So man, that might sound doom and gloom, but do you see why I don't want that road to be kicked down the can? Because I'm 42. At this moment in my life, I'm actually positioned in a physical sense to care for my children. I don't want them, the can to be kicked down the road 5 years, 10 years, so that my girls have to carry that burden. If this is happening and I think there's no way around it, then I want to position myself well within cryptocurrency, and I've done that. I want to position myself within gold and silver, and I've done that. And I want to position myself for a time in the future when we see massive declines in the major indices, which is a moment when I would want to buy land, when I would want to buy stocks and bonds, nowhere near these all-time highs after a full cratering of price. So I'm saying to you, Said in Jest, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I actually think we have one more opportunity. I might be wrong about that. I'm not trying to convince you. I love this conversation. It's so complex, but man, I hope I'm wrong because if I'm right, I'm talking about we're gonna kick this can down the road one more time, 5 more years, 10 more years, 20 more years, and then I'm 60 and my kids got to fend and fight for themselves. And I hate that idea, but that's what I fear is true. So I think I should leave it there. That's already a long response. I just want to maybe say one more thing, because you talk about how your card collection has melted in value. You don't really even enjoy the game. You talk about, man, you just want to get out with a little bit of money. I feel that, dude. I've been there in crypto. I'm not there now, but I've been there before. I took all of my money, and this is the last thing I'll share with you. I took all of my money in the entire world and I put it into crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum, a few other tokens. I messed around with some stuff. I made some mistakes along the way, but it went from 15 Canadian to 70 Canadian, which is crazy. And then back to 5 Canadian, 5,000. That's nothing. Like, I mean, I literally, like, 70% of my value gone in a year. Dizzying highs, terrifying lows. And then I sat on that value for 3.5 years until this game went wild, because that's where my value was stowed, because I recognized what these assets were: deflationary in nature, limited in number, being burnt constantly, meaning that they're lowering supply while there's an increasing demand. Now, I know you say you don't enjoy the game. I know you say that you never think it's going to go up again, and you think even AI could produce a better, more enjoyable experience. Again, I don't want to convince you. You're in a tough spot. I just want to say I feel like I've been where you've been. Feel like I've been where you are. And all I just want to say is, man, thank you for dropping the comment. It takes courage to share this sort of vulnerability, and other people feel the same way, as indicated by the 3 thumbs up. And I just quickly want to see what Chris has to say. Just started selling out and getting out until you just start selling and get out until you can still get something. I spent a few $1,000s, but I do not play anymore because I came for a game, yet game improvements, mechanics, gameplay, etc. are non-existent. I started selling. Okay, so, I'm not going to get into that one. It's more of the same, really. But this is advice. You could take the L and just liquidate, or you could consider some of the bullishness that people like myself would bring. Because I don't say it out of a sales pitch. I say it out of my true belief. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. We'll see. God bless, said and yes. Seriously. Thanks for the comment. Okay. Harry Larry McNary. You know what? We got you last time, Harry. We're going to get gathering this time. Let's see what he goes. Thanks for bringing up my idea to the team. What a great answer by Aggie. Don't give us money out of kindness of your heart. Get as many assets as you can so that you will be the one that benefits, not us. It's the selfless attitude and unique vision of the leadership that gets excited for the future of Splinterlands. Gets him excited, gets gathering excited. Peace, prosperity, and freedom. Can you have a better mission statement than that? Love the comment. Thank you, Gathering. It's nice to have a little bit of a palate cleanser, because, man, that last comment was so serious. And I feel the pain of that guy's walking through, said in jest. So Gathering, thank you for this. And Gathering is commenting on a video where I quoted Agrode, who spoke about, I've asked them, like, why can't we just donate money? Like, some people would. Some people who have really thrived in this ecosystem would donate and say thank you. And that might help extend the runway of the game, the development of the game, and allow, future success. And they're hard no. Agrode's like, we've talked about it. Me and Matt are like a hard no. And he explained, we don't want your money for free. We want it because we give you a quality product. And I think that's really, really important. It speaks to who is developing the game. It speaks about a scrupulousness, like a real high character, in my opinion. Because you could do money grab, cash grab. You could pump out another deck right now. You could do mini set. You could do cheap, You could do partnerships with probably small companies that would throw some money at Splinterlands, which would just easily be a cash grab, and they'd be, another card that the game has, a new type of card inflation that, we would have to then buy, and maybe we would really want. You could do things like just creating new overpowered cards that are so much better, and they make the old ones useless, and in that way, you got to buy the new. There's a half dozen ways, maybe more, that a company like Splinterlands could just be so dollar oriented and careless about product. But this answer in this video, as quoted here by Gathering, don't give us money out of kindness of your heart. Get it? Don't give us money for no reason, he said. He said, don't give us money because you like us or something like that. Give us money because we have a product that is worth your attention. And he said, if you want to help us, the path to helping us is by giving us a chance to excite you on a product that you want. Like, buy DEC because you think we're going to do, the land is going to be amazing. Buy SPS because you think you're going to need more. You think it's going to go up in price. Invest in your portfolio within the in-game assets because you want to be as selfish and as greedy as possible because you think it's going to go up. You think it's going to be an opportunity. You think it's going to make you money. And in so doing, that self-interest that will drive you to that place will collectively make the economy be what we want it to be. He's right. It shows great character. And I'm glad that you that you saw that one, Gathering, because that was his idea, Gathering's idea, and I'm glad we were able to talk about it with Aggro too. Thanks for the comment, Gathering. Appreciate you, brother. Let's get one more. Okay, I saw Steve did a comment on this. Let's do this. There was Steve disagrees with this one. Okay, so first of all, Steve R82, check him out on YouTube. Splinterlands content creator, good content. So I did a video talking about I was wrong about leaderboards, and we talked about how I previously talked about how I want to get rid of DEC on the leaderboards. It's creating new DEC that's detracting from the flywheel effect that should one day drive DEC to peg and SPS to higher and higher prices. I'm excited to see that flywheel go, and so I theoretically want to stop DEC inflation. But in this video, we talk about Aggro's idea on this, and he goes, it's so trivial. It's only, it's not a lot of DEC every season. It's not nothing. I think it's millions, but we're talking about DC in the billions, right? We have 4 or 5 billion DC. We're talking a few extra million every 2 weeks. It's probably 1 million extra DC a day or something like that. It's not nothing. That's, 350 million DC a year. But from the perspective of Aggro and the team, that is inconsequential because land will gobble that up. What are they called? Grain sales will gobble that up. Time crystal sales will gobble that up. DC staking into land will gobble that up. Liquidity pools, when we get 15 new liquidity pools, will gobble that up. So that's Aggro's position. And he adds to that the idea that look, this would take time. It would take new creativity. We have to think through a new reward structure. We'd have to make sure that was balanced. We don't have, this is just not a big enough issue to dive into. And I said, I think I agree after really thinking about it, after getting into some comments over it. But in this, we also talked about, anyways, let's just read Steve's comment. Steve said, I don't see packs as an issue. See, we talked about as an alternative, what about giving packs on the leaderboard? Look, if we take this, the max you can earn is 150 in a season. So the max for the leaderboard should be around 100 to 150 chests. So Steve's saying, instead of DEC on the leaderboard, give them extra chests. And that would be another 100 to 150 chests possible. I'm thinking I would say 100, and then you would go down from there. I don't think an extra 5 or 7 packs for the top leaderboard guy is going to ruin the pack prices. So he's arguing both, because we talked about both. We talked about pack prices. We talked about packs as a reward for the leaderboard. We also talked about chests as a reward for the leaderboard instead of DEC. And he seems to be saying that either of them would be, fine. So I don't think maybe an extra 5 to 7 packs for the leaderboard guys is going to ruin the pack prices. But I think it would be way more than that. Oh, I see. You're saying chests. If you got 100 to 150 chests for free because you won the leaderboard, you might get an extra 5 or 7 packs. Fair enough. That's not going to ruin the prices. You're right, Steve. Also, SPS comes from the reward pool. It doesn't matter how many chests are made. That is just wrong. Okay. That's an important criticism and response. Because one of the things I thought I received from, I think it was Larkin in that video, is that if we issued more chests for the leaderboard, that would produce more SPS and create new inflation, and it would have to come from somewhere. But Steve's saying comes from the reward pool, so it would just be whatever the pool is subdivided by the total chests. It wouldn't create more. It would just put more SPS in the hands of the leaderboard people who got 100 extra chests. And maybe they deserve that. If 50K more players started to play, we wouldn't print more SPS. We would just get less in each chest. That's a clear articulation of what he's saying here. It's like handing out more chests doesn't mean more SPS gets printed. Handing out more chests means the same SPS gets divided across more individual chests. So giving more out at the end of a season won't increase inflation. Good to know. Thank you, Steve. Each of us might get less SPS a season, but in theory, it would help get us the flywheel going. Interesting. This is the thing, man. These are very complicated talking points. Should we use DEC on the leaderboard? It's 15 million a season. Should we stop doing that and issue chests? Well, chests might do something funny with SPS. It might do something funny with Chaos Legion packs that are inside those chests. There are other consequences, unintended though they might be, that need to be thought through. And on the one hand, we have Aggro talking about it, and then there was me talking about it, then Larkin, and now Steve are chiming in. And as you can see, there's a diverse set of opinions on the issue. I guess I don't want to really so much respond to Steve, except to say I'm glad you added this clarification about how the reward pool is what it is. It wouldn't grow the SPS printed. And I maybe just want to add one thing, which is that I see neither of these ideas as optimal. If it was chests, the majority of players that would be receiving chests, that already receive chests from playing the game, would feel, their rewards are diminished. And they are. Soulbound cards are being printed over here, not in my hands. SPS is being given over here, not in my hands. Whereas right now, they might not even care about the DEC they're not getting. But if you change the reward, it starts to stir a new conversation. And my point is just this. It's not that they're right and you're wrong, Steve. My point is, when we change things, we should go from not ideal to better. And I would say that any change that we've talked about, chests or packs from DEC, is changing for change's sake. I'm not convinced, based on the conversation so far from yourself, Larkin, Aggro, and myself, that changing it would be substantively beneficial to the ecosystem, because I know the arguments around the flywheel, but frankly, Aggro makes an amazing point there. It's just not that much. In terms of the broader, the total pool of DC, it's just not that much. And I talked about how grain sales, time crystal sales, DEC staking into land, 50 liquidity pools once land 2.0 launches. But there's a ton of reasons to believe the DEC that already exists is not even close to enough, and we're going to fly through that and get the peg. And I don't think 15 million, a million a day from a leaderboard issue is a big deal. That's Agrod's point, but I think he's right. And so then if we're going to change, we should change for a really significant better. Not just for hey, let's change for change's sake, because we're going to piss off people that love what they already got, both from the leaderboards as well as those who are not on leaderboards and love what they're getting. And so if we're going to stir that, if we're going to shake that hornet's nest, we better make sure we got a better solution, like a real substantively and significantly better solution. I'm not sure chests or packs are that solution. Thanks, guys, for your time and attention. Thank you for the comments, guys. I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing day. Check out Gathering the Magic. Check out Stever's channel. Have an amazing day, guys. God bless.